Hi, you're probably drowning in the massive options on how to insulate your camper van, and you just want like a quick fix, an easy solution that's not too expensive. Well, I got it for you. For the walls and the ceiling, I chose to go with a closed cell foam with an adhesive backing. So this is a 9mm foam. And for the flooring, I chose to go with an XPS foam board. This is 20mm. I wanted to save as much headspace as possible because, as you can see, I'm a tall girl and obviously I'm not going to be standing cooking here, but I think it's good to have the option to be walking around in your van. Anyways, I hope that this video is helpful. If you're new to my channel, my name is Renate and I'm currently building out this camper van, and I'm traveling to the north of Norway to spend close to 4 months in the Arctic this summer, and I'm super excited. So if you want to follow along for the journey, please hit the subscribe button, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Alright, so step 1 is sound deadening. This is a very important step if you're sensitive to sound like me, and yeah, I highly recommend you do this. I didn't cover every single inch of the metal because you don't actually need to. You just need to stop the large flat panels from vibrating. By placing these mats on the center of the panel, it makes it so much quieter when you're driving, and honestly, it just makes the van feel less like a cargo truck and more like a home. Keep in mind that these panels are quite heavy, so you don't really want to be using a lot of it. Just a little bit goes a long way. Step 2 is the walls and the ceiling, and for this I went with 10mm Armaflex. Now, since this is a micro camper and a simple build, space is everything. Every millimeter matters. I chose 10mm Armaflex because it's incredibly flexible, meaning it hugs the awkward curves of a small van perfectly without stealing away too much living space. But the biggest benefit? It's a closed cell foam. In the Arctic, condensation is the enemy. When you sleep and cook inside a van, moisture traps against the cold metal and creates rust. Armaflex acts as its own vapor barrier. It doesn't absorb water, it stops rust, and it keeps the heat inside where it belongs. And of course, it also keeps the heat out if you're in warmer climates. One thing that is super important is that you clean every surface with alcohol. You want to remove all the fats from the metal, because if you don't, you risk the chance of the Armaflex peeling off. Here's a great view of my concentration phase. I just like to bite both of my lips down for some reason. Anyways, if you're wondering if you can do this all by yourself, you totally can. You just need to take the time that it takes, and don't rush it, and yeah. There are no rules. People are probably gonna see this and be like, why do you have so many patches of insulation overlapping and whatever? And I just didn't follow a tutorial. I just did what I wanted to do, and you can also just cover the seams with tape. That's what I did, and it's insulated and it works great. So here's what it looks like when every surface is covered with Armaflex. I personally think it looks very good. It kind of looks rough some places, like what even is this? I tried to shove everything back there, and yeah, I guess I did as good as I could. And here you see a bunch of isolation tape covering all the seams so no vapor can get in behind the Armaflex. So it should all be completely covered. And yeah, it took some hours, let me tell you that. It's insulated now and I'm ready to get the walls up. Finally, step 3, the floor. I began by filling in all the old screw holes with an acrylic filler. In a van, a tiny hole in the floor is an invitation for water from the road to spray up, trap moisture, or start rusting from the inside out. We definitely don't want that. Once that was sealed, I glued down these 2x1 wooden planks directly onto the metal floor with a heavy-duty glue. You never want to screw your furniture or your subfloor straight into the van's metal body if you can avoid it. It creates thermal bridges and more places for rust. Now for the actual insulation. In between the wooden planks, I'm fitting the 20mm XPS foam boards. Unlike the walls, the floor needs to handle a lot of weight. XPS boards have a really high compressive strength, meaning they won't crush down or lose their insulation power when I put my weight, my bed, and my gear on top of them. They are lightweight, completely water resistant, and they form a solid, rigid base. Walking on a cold van floor is probably the worst feeling in the world, but this layer is going to keep the cold from the ground completely blocked out. Before you start insulating your van, I highly recommend that you buy a good knife. You're gonna need it. At first I started sawing these XPS boards and it just created so much dust and it wasn't straight, and when I did it with a knife it was just so easy, it's so smooth. So yeah, definitely buy a good knife. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. As much as I try to be thorough and measure and get everything down to the millimeters, I'm just not that detail oriented. I'm just not built that way. So there are some gaps in the floor. I filled them in with tiny pieces of the insulation boards. And you know what? It probably works the same. It just looks a little bit rougher, but it's gonna be covered with plywood anyways. So there you have it. This is how I insulated my micro camper van in 3 simple steps. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more. I'm going on a crazy adventure this summer, so if you want to follow along, please do. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.